Have you ever wanted to start something that was way out of your comfort zone? This is the story of how I stumbled into the whiskey world with no background, just a PhD in winging it and pretended I belong. The whiskey world is kind of wild when you think about it.
Throw it out.
Barley, water and thyme bottled and sold for eye-watering amounts by brands with budgets the size of small countries. 2.1 million quid, mate. But that's not why we're here. We're here for the curious ones. The ones who'd rather sip whiskey by a campfire than in a leather chair. This isn't about chasing prestige. It's about making whiskey more fun, more human, and way more accessible for the adventurous souls. And I've got a 3-step plan to make this happen. Step 1. Find a mate who actually knows about whiskey. Not just drinks it, lives it.
It's Mitch here. I'm like Craig, but Scottish and better.
While he was quoting cask types and flavour profiles, I was nodding like I totally understood what first fill sherry butt meant.
But that is all we're going to tell you at this point.
Step 2. Convince him that it would be a great idea to start our own whiskey. Do you know who I am? And disrupt the industry. Meanwhile, I'm silently panicking, hoping the whiskey we chose to mature for 6 months doesn't taste like regret. Confidence level? Low. Commitment level? Unreasonably high. Step 3. Invite a bunch of strangers to the Scottish Highlands. To a retreat I wasn't even sure anyone would show up to. Also, fun fact, I hate public speaking. So naturally I thought, let's host a weekend where I talk to people a lot about whiskey in front of them repeatedly. The opening night, I sat there, knees weak, arms heavy, haggis on my sweater, trying to address the crowd. Could we pull this off? Were we about to break the mold and start something new? Or was all of this just a daft idea after too many whiskies?
Day one of starting a whiskey brand. Feels like a really fun new chapter.
So in order to make this dream happen, we need a dream team. Meet Greg, Head of Operations and Spirits Manager at Glenmore Spirits, multiple award-winning master blender, the man with a plan.
No pressure, no, Greg.
If you do a better job than me, I'll have to give you my job.
Mitch, whiskey expert, keeper of the Quake, one of the highest honours in the whiskey industry, whiskey podcast host and a general legend.
It's going to be a journey, dude. Put your hands on your chest.
And me. Before we carry on, let me tell you how I ended up with these two legends. Back in 2020, Amy and I had our first road trip in Scotland, and we fell in love with it. I went to my first whiskey distillery in Thurso and tried my first proper whiskey. Then I bought my first ever bottle of whiskey and talked about it on one of our videos. I am a newbie. And that's how I met Mitch. He found our videos and sent me a whiskey tasting pack in the post and started showing me some proper whiskey. From there, our friendship grew through a shared love of adventure and a good old dram. Over the years, we've been kicking about in Scotland, tasting some of Scotland's finest whiskey and just having a jolly good time. Turns out there's no ferries that side of the island today.
Don't look at the ferry timetable at 11 o'clock at night after 5 whiskies.
Fast forward 4 years and we were about to go for our first meeting with Greg, who Mitch also met through their shared love of the amber nectar. And he just so happens to be in charge of one of the tallest, most majestic whiskey warehouses in the world.
What's up, fella?
How's things?
How you doing?
Welcome to Lowland Bond in Glenrothes.
We knew that Greg had some gold in this warehouse, and when we told him about the project, he said he could help us bring it to life. All he needed was our flavour profile. So we told him we wanted something fruity, spicy and bold. This warehouse is mental. So this is our Mortlach whiskey cask that we've chosen. It's 11 years old. So we're going to put a big king in it, template on it. Mitch is going to stick a sticker on it just to claim it, do you know what I mean? Mortlach is one of the most unique and revered distilleries in Scotland, often referred to as the Beast of Dufftown due to its bold and robust whiskey character. Now it was time to pull some of this Mortlach whiskey out and give it a taste. Was it the right base liquid to start our wee experiment?
57%. 57? 56?
About 58.
58. Put your hands on your chest.
Whiskey in 60 seconds. Alright whiskey rookies, time to talk single malt Scotch whiskey. It all starts with barley, but we can't just throw it in a barrel and hope for magic. First we malt it, soaking it in water, letting it sprout, then drying it. Sometimes over peat smoke for that smoky kick. This activates enzymes that turn starches that will eventually turn into sugar. Next we will mill it, grinding up the malted barley, then mash it, mixing it with hot water to dissolve those sugars into sweet liquid called wort. Think of a coffee cafetiere. Then we ferment, adding yeast, which eats the sugar and produces alcohol, turning the wort into a beer-like liquid called wash, which will be about 7 to 10% ABV. Now for the real magic, distillation. We heat the wash in traditional copper pot stills, separating the alcohol from the impurities to get a purer, stronger spirit. Finally, the new make spirit rests in oak casks for at least 3 years in Scotland. second, but often much longer, absorbing flavours like vanilla, caramel and spices. And that's what's happened with our base liquid, but ours rested in oak casks for 11.5 years.
Whenever you're in a kind of warehouse environment, it's hard, right, to nose and taste what you're doing. Firstly, the temperature is actually pretty cold, even though it's June in Scotland, it should be summer. So this is a nice clean environment, very neutral. So we want to take the whiskey in here, give it another nose, get to know it a little bit more and just make sure that we're happy with everything. Plus it's just an excuse for us to have a dram.
After a few sips, we decided it was the perfect base to create our first release.
Now that we had our cask, we wanted to put our own spin on it.
This wasn't just going to be any old whiskey, this was going to be special.
This is going to get now recast into smaller casks, and the reason for this is we've got hogshead here and it's given off some really nice notes, but when Craig and I tasted it, we felt it just needed a little bit of a, I suppose you could call it turbo boost.
Look at me, little lost sheep in a warehouse way out of my depth with 2 whiskey pros. In reality, I was buzzing, a whiskey enthusiast's dream, to have his pick of thousands of casks and be guided by 2 experts.
Oh, that smells amazing.
And how I'm about to describe whiskey is a cardinal sin.
Not only will it change the flavour, but it'll also change the colour. So it'll go like a nice, more reddy colour than quite
I
clear
like to
at the
say
moment.
mahogany, Craig.
Mahogany, is it?
And this is why step 1 is really important. Find a mate who actually knows about whiskey.
Mahogany, is it?
Oh, darlings.
I think smelling that has made me even more excited to see what this is going to taste like, because it smells so sweet.
Get your nose in your bung. Okay, it's not a bung, it's a hole. Bung hole. It's even better. There's 4 casks, 2 of which are Oloroso, and then 2 of which are Pedro Jimenez. That's the sherry that's been in both of them. The wood is different. So we've got European oak and American oak. So when we're talking about maturation of a whiskey, the cask is really going to add around about anywhere from 60 to 70% to the flavour at the end of it. This is going to make a huge difference to what we just tried from the hogshead.
Once we committed to these small casks, our secret weapon for the intense flavour, Greg transferred the whiskey, and from then on, the real transformation began.
It's going to take another 6 months to get this off the ground.
At this point, as we do this, we do not know what this whiskey is going to taste like in a month's time, in 6 months' time. Who knows how long we're going to leave it in there? It's going to be a journey, dude.
We've got a lot of time to plan.
There's so many things to think about, and one of the things is what shape is the bottle going to be. This is like a bespoke bottle, higher end, more expensive. Then this is one that's in their catalogue that they've got, and looks like bullet bourbon.
It's like a big hip flask.
Fit that in your pocket.
But yeah, I mean, this is the big thing. It's like, what does the brand look like? What does the bottle look like? What does the label look like?
We have no idea.
Our faces. Did you enjoy that?
Class. So now we had about 6 months to get everything lined up. The branding, the name, and what it would look and feel like. Mitch's super talented and creative friend Anna and her team at S&Co loved the project and wanted to help us bring it to life. We were so pumped to launch the whiskey and the idea of a community that we just got ahead of ourselves and decided to launch a whiskey retreat. A whiskey retreat like no other. If we were going to break the mold, we wanted to come out of the gates at full pelt. We announced the launch of the retreat on our channel, and within 24 hours, we'd sold out. Boom.
Sold out, mate.
It's sold out!
We don't even know what it tastes like yet.
We had an idea, and we were in the middle of creating said idea, and we had 20 people invested in this dream before it was even a reality. We didn't even have a name at this point. Naming something that means everything, turns out it's not that easy. We spent weeks sending ideas back and forth, trying to come up with the perfect name. And here are some of our worst ones. Copper King Whiskey, Feral Spirit, Third Horizon, PT McPeatface, Dramit, Barrel Boys, with a Z, and Whiskey Nutters. And one day after researching Scottish garlic, I came across a term, Turas More, which translates to great journey. It was perfect. This already was a great journey, and the name just sounded so Scottish, so bold and so cool. And we also came up with a simple line to go with it. Whiskey for the adventurous soul.
Here we are. Top of Ben Rinnes. The wee whiskey. Not our whiskey yet,
Not yet.
but we're not far off, eh?
Getting closer, mate. Still feels bizarre, doesn't it? It's exciting. I feel like, yeah, it's like the start of something huge. We're so close to getting the bottles in our hands.
Whiskey's always had that aspect of being outdoors, enjoying the moment with someone. You know, you've done something great at the end of the day, or your reward at the top of a mountain. And whiskey for the adventurous soul is a great tagline to bring all that together.
100%, mate.
Right, so we've just had an email of our first illustrations for the bottle. So I'm gonna open them up and see if we're on track. Oh. Whoa. It's so hard when you've got something in your head and you tell someone what you want it to look like. I'm gonna give Mitch a call and see what he thinks.
We had the name, we'd sold out the retreat, and months into the project, we still couldn't find the right illustrator.
I think my kind of face says all right.
We needed a design that told a story even before the cork was popped. But we were struggling to find someone who saw it the way we saw it, and we were almost out of time. If we didn't have the whole label design finished in the next week, we wouldn't have the bottles ready for our first adventure. It was squeaky bum time.
Like we said, if it's not what we want, we'll just scrap it and start again.
Back to the drawing board there, mate. Let's get it nailed.
Yeah. We'll find someone. Someone will come through. As we waited for the perfect illustrator, the whiskey was still cooking away in the sherry octaves, and we just got our hands on the latest sample. 6 months later, what would it taste like?
Mitch is at the house and he's brought some goodies.
The whiskey on Craig's left is the first time we saw it. You can see the difference in the colour.
Brilliant.
It's coming on quite nicely.
It is.
So it's still got another 6 weeks.
Oh, that smells really good.
It's like stewed fruits now, as opposed to the kind of fresh fruits.
Yeah.
Moved into like stewed apples almost.
So the gamble with this was we had no idea what it was going to taste like. So the fact that it tastes good is a win. I'm stoked for this now because that tastes really good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, that smells lovely.
You like that, yeah?
It's kind of a little bit Christmas cakey.
Might just be the one and only whiskey Amy likes.
It's not as bad, actually. Like, you talk about that smoothness, and I can get that. I feel like I'm just saying this for the video, but I don't actually hate that. That is really nice.
Despite the wonderful review from Amy, we were pretty confident that this whiskey was going to be a banger.
We explored a few illustrators, each brought something to the table, but the designs just weren't quite landing. And then we found Francesco. He just got it, nailed the concept, and brought it to life. Go on, Francesco, you legend! And from there, our creative agency S&Co took it to the next level. They landed on a look that looked adventurous, rebellious, and cool as f***. And just like that, we were back on track. All we had left to do was hope that our idea of maturing the whiskey the way we did would pay off. Would it be everything that we'd hoped? Our fingers and toes were crossed.
Exciting morning, Craig.
It is, it's a long time coming. Kind of gutted Mitch couldn't make it, but I'm buzzing to try it. Today's going to be so fun, and Greg's such a legend as well. He's done so much for us, so I'm excited to share it with him as well and see what he thinks, because he's got the palate of the gods. If I move this leg, we lose the whole barrel. So exciting to pull that bung out and smell it. It smells glorious. So we're going to pull a glass for each, have a taste, and then do the mixing. Buzzing, mate.
Nothing.
Didn't go all the way in.
This is a wee electric one. Once that goes into a larger bottle, it really kind of shows the colour off once you've got some volume. Because if you remember what it was like before, it was way lighter than that, so it has taken a lot of natural colour on.
At this point, some of you might be thinking, what on earth is going on with this whiskey? So let me break it down for you. We bought a barrel of Mortlach whiskey, stuck it in these 4 octaves, and now we were going to vat it all back together to create one super complex single malt Scottish whiskey.
Don't spill a drop. Precious cargo.
Just rotate.
That's gorgeous.
We also decided to pull half a bottle from each octave so we could do an exclusive tasting for our whiskey retreat and let our guests taste the 4 individual octaves before we married them all together.
So we're going to close this up and then it'll go off the bottle, so I'll let you do the honours.
So excited for this.
This will give you a chance to see the individual component parts and how they differ from each other.
At this point, my confidence was growing, and I went to the tasting room with Greg to sample them myself and mix them together to taste the final product.
This is kind of the exciting part of doing it. We don't know fully what the outcome's going to be yet, but I expect it to be good, whatever it is.
I'm so intrigued to know what it's going to be like.
I didn't know a massive amount about whiskey, but I knew what a good whiskey tasted like.
You're having a moment, yeah.
That's a journey.
And this was sensational. Our gamble had paid off, but I wanted one final seal of approval.
I'll try that, Greg. That's next level.
No pressure, no, Greg.
No pressure. Put me down for 2 bottles.
Yeah!
With just over a week to go until day one of the retreat, we had a call to say that the bottles had been filled and dressed, and they were ready to be picked up. We were buzzing. Today is the day.
This is the man who's dressed your bottles. Who's getting put to the test here?
Is that number one? Yeah.
That's what it should look like, I think.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, it's straight in there, no messing about, mate. We didn't realise this, but Curtis stuck a label on every single bottle by hand, and he was kind enough to leave us the last one so we could feel his pain. Bottle number one, mate.
Number one.
How sick does that look? So mad seeing that now after all this time. It looks epic. Like the way they've printed the Turas More.
It's quite emotional seeing it, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I'm stoked with that. It's so cool. Our first bottle of whiskey, mate. Now we gotta load the precious cargo into the van, take it up to Alia.
This is going to be a very nerve-wracking drive here.
Drive slow, mate.
Very slow.
We drove the precious cargo to Mitch's house and felt like it would only be right to crack the first bottle together and share our first dram of Turas More.
Pretty cool to see it, eh?
Yeah, mate. The cool thing about this watch strap is it's got our logo on it, which is the North Star, which I think is epic. You know, like a guiding star in life.
Look at us, we're sitting with our branded merch.
I know, mate.
You're branded to you've got Turas More underpants on as well, right?
You can't get them in the shop.
Got the mugs, all available on our website, by the way.
It's a beautiful thing.
Cheers, bro. It still blows my mind how smooth it is. It's like a penguin wearing a wetsuit.
So what does this actually taste like? Take it away, Mitch.
An adventurous spirit born of bourbon and sherry casks unfolds with sun-kissed caramelized pineapple, fresh-cut grass and velvet milk chocolate. Tropical fruits and bananas dance with wild pink peppercorns, leading to a rich trail of butterscotch and honey-drizzled spices.
It's pretty good, but the question is, will our 20 new friends like it? After months of planning, the day was finally here. Our guests arrived from all over the world, and we were about to show them the time of their lives. We also had our super creative friend Fab there to capture the whole event, and he did a sterling job. Nice one, Fab.
First official day of the Turas More retreat.
I am so excited. I mean, I'm ready to learn and drink and drink and learn.
We were hosting everybody in Speyside at the Craigellachie Lodge, and by some wild stroke of luck, we literally had perfect weather the entire time. We opened the trip with a welcome dinner paired with some beautiful whiskey, and like the true professional he is, Mitch delivered an epic welcome speech.
I'm not going to tell you anything else about the whiskey until Monday when we do the actual review. So you can get us as drunk as you want. We will not say anything.
Then I followed up with this. Putting your hands in, you trusted us to... What a shambles. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel out on my depth. But I think everybody knew deep down that Mitch was the whiskey pro and I was the adventure pro. We were the perfect team. I'd take them to jump in the cold North Sea off cliffs, and Mitch would feed them and talk to them about the finest whiskey in Scotland. We also implemented some mindfulness. Mitch's wife Jo did a sound bath, which was beautiful. My friend Beth led us in yoga. We rented a sauna and there was an ice plunge.
It's cold.
We were having a whale of a time, and it seemed like everyone else was too.
This trip has been a huge adventure. I've loved every second of it. I'm very excited. Excited and scared. It's just incredible how everyone has just connected. We're all very, very adventurous here. I've never done one of these before. I'm really big on living a life worth living, and I have to tell you, these last few days have really been all about making the journey and that part of my life worth living. So it's been awesome. It's been wild.
Our hard work paid off. This retreat was so special, so much fun, and we bonded over stories, whiskey and adventure. We decided to keep the bottle a secret until the last day of the retreat, so we could do a big reveal to our new friends. After a shaky start on the first night's speech,
putting your hands in, you trusted us to... The build up to this reveal had my kneecaps quivering. From a complete whiskey amateur to a whiskey business owner with my great friend Mitch, we were about to reveal our creation for the very first time. And imposter syndrome was kicking in, my friend. Luckily, as through this whole process, I had my boys Mitch and Greg with me to explain the technical side of the whiskey. We planned to pour it all out in camping mugs to capture the adventurous essence of the trip. The stage was set. The whiskey was poured. Would they like it? Would I be able to speak? There was no turning back now. As Mitch and Greg delivered crisp, precise, beautiful speeches, my butthole was twitching. I couldn't let the team down. It was go time, baby. Just watching you all have a great time, bonding and just like overcoming yourselves. I was speaking. My words were coming out. Not only that, people were laughing. It was happening. I'd gone from an imposter to a public speaking whiskey mogul. I couldn't believe it. We'd done it. The bottle was live, in the flesh. It felt so good. And the feeling of handing out those bottles and cheersing to Turasmore for the first time was one of the best feelings ever. Not only did our new friends like the whiskey, they loved it. And to be able to share it with all of these legends made the whole process so much better. Now I wasn't just an imposter, I was a dreamer. And that dream had come true. Turasmore is now available to buy. Head to turasmorewhiskey.com to buy it online, or if you're local, we are selling exclusively through the Speyside Whiskey Shop, so you can pop into the store if you're quick, or if you want to buy online, they can ship pretty much anywhere. This isn't just whiskey, this is your next story. Welcome to the journey. And thanks for the support as well.
The moon's just popped out.
It's quite romantic, this, isn't
It is. Look, it's a sign because that's on the label.
Oh, and it is.
What? That's literally just got
That
out,
is
mate.
crazy. Oh no, we canned that off.
Ah, shit.
That's so funny. He's like, remember me? You took me off the label.
You're regretting that now, aren't you? Look at me. Look how good I am.
Sorry, Moon.